I started as a learner in the improvement kata in 2011. In 2013, I brought the improvement kata home to my family, and I started teaching it to my children. I've found that a better place to start teaching this scientific method is with the next generation, because ultimately they're going to be the future of continuous improvement, and practicing the improvement kata is going to help them get the skills they need to be successful. A lot of our culture and mindset is developed as we're growing up, how we're raised. As we get older, we become more set in our ways. Change is more difficult. If we were to teach continuous improvement to children, that would become part of their culture, so as they grew, it would be there already. And if we were teaching improvement kata in school or at home, then the mindset would be there when they got into the workplace. Prior to my experience with continuous improvement, anything involving lean was an event. We'd spend 3 to 5 days working on improving something. And with my experience, ultimately, things went back to the way they were. I think part of the reason that happened was we didn't have clear direction. We didn't have a real purpose for why we were doing these things. It was, this area is messy, let's do a 5S event to get it clean. But then we fell short on 5, right? We fell short on the sustaining part because we didn't have that direction. And don't get me wrong, I love the tools I was learning, the tools I was using. And there's a lot of great benefits to these tools. But I think at some point while practicing the improvement kata, I recognized that a lot of what we were doing prior was waste itself. What improvement kata did was it gave us this structured and disciplined way to practice continuous improvement, right? By having that big goal that we were trying to achieve, it gave us that direction now. We have this direction. If we can understand what we really want to accomplish, then we can start establishing that current condition, the current state, where we are right now. Based off of this information, we're going to set that mini goal on the way, that target condition that's on the path to reaching that challenge. This part here is where I usually find adults struggle. And I've heard some other people talk about this as well. Adults will jump straight to knowing what they want to do next. So either the current condition part falls short, or they collect information to support what they wanted to do next. Children don't do that. Children will take the time collecting that information. They don't have it in their mind of what they want to do next. They just collect the data. The data drives what they're going to do next, which is how it should be. So once we have established that target condition, now we're going to start experimenting towards reaching that target condition. We will do this again and again and again until we reach that challenge. This is the pattern we're going to follow. As adults, your already developed brains makes it more difficult for you to learn new things. Because of this, you have what is referred to as functional fixedness. And what that means is you see things as they are. For instance, what is this? Sword? It is a Nerf sword. So my boys and I like to play fight. We play fight all the time. So I bought these swords thinking, hey, this is going to be fun to play fight with these. And I bring them home, and I go to play fight with my stepson. Here we go, we're getting ready, and I notice he's holding it this way. And I'm like, what are you doing? I said, that's not very smart. You're holding that razor sharp edge. You're going to cut yourself. And he looks at me like I'm dumb. Says, that's not the blade, that's the handle. And this is a battle axe. Keep in mind, he knows what a sword is, but for some reason he's seeing something I'm not seeing here. This is a battle axe, he says. But not only is it a battle axe, he says it's a crossbow. The blades are actually a crossbow, and there's a groove in here where the arrow sits. So what he's seeing now is this. And not only, he says, is it a crossbow with a battle axe, it's also a taser. You can't touch this side or it'll shock you. So, At this point, I'm standing there with a sword and recognizing I've been outweaponed. But we decide to fight anyways, and as we're going, I quickly recognize I'm not doing so hot because I can't get close enough to him without being shot by these arrows. And as I'm coming to life for the 6th time on the ground, he comes over and starts shocking me, and then I quit. I was like, yeah, this isn't working for me. So, what's going on here is a child's developing mind can be creative. They're flexible and inventive with what they see in things. You and I, we see a sword. He quickly saw so much more potential in this tool than what we can see. What this tells us is a child's mind is designed to learn, and adults' minds are designed to perform. As I've introduced lean into the workplace, I've found that the older the person that I'm working with, the more difficult time they have grasping lean concepts. And it's not every single case, but that's what I found typically. The great news is that if we can get them to practice no matter what age they're at, if we can get them to practice that routine we were talking about, I have success in teaching them, right? So without that practice, no success. With practice, success. Sometimes it's still difficult getting them to practice a new routine because they don't want to, maybe. But if they practice it, then even those other lean tools are easy to teach because now they're plug and play into helping them reach a target condition, right? Or the challenge. So it actually puts purpose behind that. It's not just clean this up because it's dirty. With millennials or young adults, I've usually found that they're resistant to practice in the beginning, but quickly flip and actually really thrive on the practice. If you miss a coaching cycle, they're coming looking for you and saying, let's do this, come on. So I find this age group really likes it. And I think part of that is because it's very fast-paced and it gives lots of recognition, instant recognition for what they're learning, right? So I personally have had great success in empowering young adults through coaching Kata. We all start our lives as natural scientists, and this is why I believe that children are the easiest of all the age groups to coach. Pre-puberty. I've more recently discovered that during puberty, all rational brain goes right out the door. So one day, I imagine a work environment where the only obstacles I'm ever faced against are only towards the target condition that I'm working towards. And not the people who are resistant to change, the people who are pushing back. That's going to happen with the next generation. Your children and your grandchildren are going to be the future of continuous improvement. And practicing the improvement kata is going to help them get the skills they need to go where they want to go. Thank you.